What up? What up? It's 69th Base, Episode 4 with Doug Mellard. I am Doug Mellard. This is the podcast where I destroy the idiotic arguments coming out of the mouths of people like Skip Bayless and Max Kellerman, all those jackasses. Anywho, we're going to talk about a dumb take, surprise, surprise, that Skip Bayless had about Dak Prescott not being in the top 100. Another dumb take he had about Amari and Dak and Zeke and why they should take a discount. A stupid take that Colin Cowherd had. A little bit of Saints drama, more on the LeBron James dunking at his kid's game in the practice line. And also, we're going to take a little dive into what we thought Skip Bayless's childhood was like. My guest is really great. You're going to love him. It gets real weird and kind of dark at times, and it's really enjoyable. Before I get into Skip's dumb fucking takes, I'm going to bring you into my world for a second, get you caught up. I was just in Denver for a few days, a few magical days. Saw My Morning Jacket at Red Rocks. That was epic. I performed in Boulder, thanks to the people that came out to that at the Boulder Comedy Show. What an amazing show. If you live in that area and you haven't been, go check it out. It was a really great night. 2 awesome shows. But the thing that kind of stood out this past week, and there was a lot. We packed it in this weekend. My wife and I went with some of her cousins and my brother-in-law to a little kids' water park in Golden, Colorado. And, mostly just for little kids. There's like a little playground and the pool, and then 2 slides that were actually pretty fun even for adults. And we've got 2 little baby cousins that are twins that are 4. And they couldn't go on their own, so they'd have to sit in our laps as we go down this slide. And we're having a blast for quite a while. And then at one point, my wife goes down the slide, and her sunglasses fall off. And they won't allow us to swim around looking for them because you can get, destroyed by someone else sliding off the slide, shooting into you. So they told us to come back in an hour, look for the sunglasses. So we wait patiently. We go back. They shut off the streams or whatever, like the jet propulsion streams in the water that shoot everybody out of the slides so that we can look for these sunglasses. It's really hard to see in the water because the water's still moving somehow. Eventually, we're about to give up. We can't find these sunglasses. And then my wife yells, "Hey, I think I found them. I think they're over here. I think I see them." We're still in a little trouble. I dive underwater, open my eyes underwater, which is bad enough because every kid has peed in that pool. But I see the sunglasses at the bottom, reach to grab them. I do grab the sunglasses. But what I also grab in my hand is a ball of human shit that I squished in my hand. I squished it because I was trying to grab the sunglasses. So I squished shit in my hand. That's a thing that I never wanted to have happen. Jump up, out of there, and I just scream, "I have human shit! I touched it with my hand!" I'm freaking out. Looking back, I wish I just, announced, just started screaming, "Whose shit is this? Whose is it?" And then did an investigation on my own, went child to child. "Is this your shit? Is this your shit, you little shit?" I didn't. I held it together. I contemplated cutting my hand off. I didn't know what to do. It still doesn't feel clean. Still don't like having, to hold this microphone close to my face. I don't like having to touch other people with it because that feels weird. I don't know. It's going to be a weird thing for a while. But got to move on. I just got to deal with my shit hand. You guys can call me Doug Shithand Mellard for the rest of my life if that's what it's got to be, So that was, I guess, that was my water park experience, my last water park experience. So you won't be catching me ever at one of those ever again. It's going to be hard even going to public pools for a while, I think, or being around water in general, unless I'm washing my right hand with a lot of soap. We'll talk about that with my guest a little bit later. Get his take on it. Also, let's get into it, guys. Let's talk about it. Skip Bayless. I mean, he's kind of the main target on this. And Will Kane was off last week, so he's kind of number two in this whole thing. So that was kind of a bummer that he took the week off. But Skip, this has just been bugging me. And he brought this up he brings this up all the time, but it came up a couple times last week. And I'm so fucking sick of hearing it. Skip always loves to point out how he felt about a player before the draft, as if anyone gives a fuck, ever. Like Bart Scott had said that Teddy Bridgewater would have had the Cowboys playing better, if he were on the team. And Skip was quick to point out, if you'll remember, I wasn't high on Bridgewater before the draft. Like, who gives a fuck? Nobody cares. You also love Manziel and Tebow and Lonzo Ball. And I'm sure there are countless examples of people he did like, but he loves to point out, things. And I don't think that's a great thing to say. I don't think it's been proven. Bridgewater did go to a Pro Bowl. I don't think that's like a really great idea to say. I wasn't big on that guy. Well, he's been pretty good. He just got hurt really bad. I would say he's on Dak's level or better. We just don't know because he got hurt. So, and he hasn't had teams as good as Dak, so why are you saying that? And again, also, who the fuck cares? You also think Aaron Rodgers sucks at football, and LeBron James is ruining his career with Space Jam 2. So I don't give a fuck about your opinion on the draft, you old piece of shit. All right, guys. That was my rant of the week. We're about to get into it. I'm about to bring my guest in. It's going to get rowdy. And we are back. It's my dumb podcast. This is a good start.
Hello?
Hey. Back with my guest, very funny comic, Andrew Polk.
Hey. I feel like I just walked in on you watching fat lady porn. I feel like I interrupted something I shouldn't have.
Let's not get into that, because I will get into some trouble with someone. Well, that makes it sound like it has something to do with me. I was not watching fat. Let's skip over it. Anywho,
Doug, have you been in a pornographic movie that's available for retail?
That is a solid question. It's weird that I had to think about it, but no. I don't think there's been any nudity, really, of me on the interweb.
No public nudity. One thing you could do that people do is they'll take their podcasts and put them on Pornhub. You could just start doing that.
Whoa.
It doesn't have to be pornographic, but it'll get some views.
Yeah, people will jerk off to our voices,
They
for sure.
might.
I'll make it happen. Andrew, you are a sports guy, and that's one of the many things I love about you. And you're even wearing a Saints hat. And so that's like your main team of any kind of sports team, right? That's
New Orleans Saints,
yeah.
Main sports team, absolutely.
You're from Louisiana. So.
I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Ruston, Louisiana. It's a college sports town. That's where Louisiana Tech is. I grew up, with like Terry Bradshaw and Karl Malone, P.J. Brown, a lot of those guys.
I fucking love Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, he's a cheese-eating mongoloid.
He's a maniac, but I like that he talks about mental health a lot. And, he's a big advocate for that, which is, surprising.
Yeah, I feel like he's a big advocate without really trying.
Yeah.
You just hear him speak, and it's like, man, we got to get these guys some help.
This talking egg. And we've also, we're buddies. We've talked about Skip Bayless and whatnot in the past. And so you're pretty familiar with all these idiots that we're going to talk about today,
Unfortunately,
right?
I am.
Yeah.
Doug. All of these buffoons. Skip Bayless is 10,000 morons on Twitter funneled into one incontinent man who looks like a wallet.
That's the best description so far. I love it. This is already going great.
He looks like an old chair at your grandfather's house, but with like a Ric Flair wig on.
Yeah, how long do you think this show's like? How long do you think he's gonna still be on television?
Until he pulls the trigger, I think.
It's soon.
I think that's the ending for old Skip.
Ah, God bless you. I'm so excited you're here. Before we really get into the meat of that, though, I want to get your take on. We've been hanging out here for a little bit at our place before we started recording, and I told you some stories from my weird weekend. But the one story I kept from you because I want your honest response. I was with Flynn and her cousins and stuff. She has these baby cousins, and we're at this weird little water park. It's like tiny. It's just for little kids. The water's like maximum 3 feet deep or something.
So you're not in the pool.
We did to play with the kids a little bit, but the main thing, there were two pretty actual decent water slides, for real, you can get on an inner tube and like a real water park.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so we would take turns, they couldn't go by themselves. They'd have to sit in our lap and you have to go with the kids down the slide. So we would take turns with that. But at one point, Flynn, my wife, lost her sunglasses in the water as she came down, and those were missing for a while. And they wouldn't allow us to go back in because people keep shooting out of the slide. It can be dangerous. But they tell us they'll shoot off the jet streams or whatever, an hour later, come back. So we come back, they cut off the streams, and we go swimming through the water, and we're about to give up. We don't see the sunglasses. And then finally, she's like, they're right here. I think they're here. So I go over there, and I just dive underwater, and I'm looking underneath, and I see this, it's definitely her sunglasses. And when I go to reach for her brown sunglasses, I did get those, but I also attached was a human ball of shit that I squished in my hand.
The fuck?
And it was the most terrifying thing that's ever happened in my life. It was not a good feeling. I wanted to throw up underwater, which would have been epic. It would have just added
the consistency that it would have
Yeah,
added to the ball of shit. Well, you know why that happened? It's because Caddyshack's on Netflix now. These fucking whippersnappers are just
they're just coming around.
Yeah, that was probably you were in a Logan Paul video called "Old Man Picks Up My Shit."
I guess my question is, have you ever held some shit in your hand?
I want to throw up into your face just you asking me that.
This is fucked up to say, but I was talking to her family. We were all laughing about it, but I could not get myself clean. I still feel dirty. My right hand, I thought about amputating it, but it was a weird thing where it was do I
become a hook hand man?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess, and it was my right hand. I'm right-handed. What do I do? But also even if it was her baby cousins, that would be disgusting enough. But I have no idea where this shit came from.
God. Yeah, a wayward stranger shit. I don't think I could handle that. I think you should go with the hook hand, or maybe a Happy Gilmore scenario, like Chubb, where you get Chubb's wooden mannequin hand.
Hey, that's perfect. It brings it back into the sports world.
Well, it's also, and it's going to help you get more comedy bookings, because they'll be like, oh, we don't have a hook hand guy. Better get a guy with a claw.
Old Dougie Claw.
No, I would have, and I love Flynn. I know you do too. I would have divorced her right then and there. I know she has nothing to do with the shit. I just would have been like, that's it. I have to go live in the desert now. I would have left the family there. I would have taken the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Because you earned the sunglasses.
Oh, I forgot to mention these sunglasses were broken. So it was all for naught.
Oh, man. Shit-covered broken sunglasses. What's the name of this water park? Let's get them some...
I think it was Showers. And it was in Golden, Colorado. I thought that was very clever. Golden Showers.
Golden Showers, Colorado, home of the chocolate lemonade or whatever.
And maybe an hour later, they had to shut down the whole park for another turd that was floating around.
How many
it
of
was
these...
very Caddyshack. They had I'm gonna post a picture later about it. That I videotaped some of it.
Please don't.
Well, you don't see. You just see a red bag and a lot of it's children everywhere, hundreds of kids just screaming all day, and then for like 30 minutes, just silence. Like nobody was talking because of
There
what
have to
was
be
happening.
so many wayward shits that happen there.
Oh yeah.
I can't. Oh God.
Oh, I did.
Well,
it.
at least everyone that works there probably has skin cancer and gets paid $5 an hour. So I'm glad
Doing great. Speaking of cancer, let's get into Skip.
Speaking of balls of shit wrapped around
Yeah.
sunglasses.
My big rant to start off the podcast, which I call the thing. I hate that Skip constantly will talk about. He'll just reference how he feels about players like before a draft, like the NFL draft or the NBA draft.
Oh, yeah.
As if that matters at all. And recently, like last week, he was talking about Teddy Bridgewater and how I didn't care for him before the draft. But it's like I don't give a fuck about your opinion in any way. You also loved Manziel and Tebow.
Oh, yeah.
How did that turn out? And I know, he gives the caveat with Manziel that, oh, well, he started drinking and getting into trouble. But it's like, that's part of the draft process, though, is you vet all of that shit.
Yeah.
So that you're still shitty at evaluating.
He's also doing that in college.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So,
Probably more so.
So, yeah, you're not good at evaluating. So I just fucking... Oh, this was... Bart Scott said this. And Skip referenced it. Bart Scott said that if Teddy Bridgewater were on the Cowboys right now, the Cowboys would be playing better. And Skip fucking went off on this and thought that was ridiculous and just talked about how shitty Teddy Bridgewater is. So you as a Saints fan, how do you fare in the middle of that, I guess?
I mean, Skip's an idiot.
Well, yeah, I guess...
I don't know I don't think the Cowboys would necessarily be better with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
But I'm a big Bridgewater fan. I love that he stayed with the Saints this year when he could have been starting for 9 to 10 teams. It wasn't football. People are so quick to forget. Bridgewater was an all-pro quarterback 3 seasons ago.
Right.
He had a bad injury, but it's not like an ACL in basketball. He came back. He started 1 game last year and did okay. And this year with practice, whenever he's been playing, Breeze set out practice today. And when Bridgewater was in there playing with the fucking, real guys, the first string, he's tearing it up. I hope that the Saints put aside enough money to keep him there because Breeze isn't going to be there in 2 or 3 years. Big Bridgewater fan. I don't think he would. I don't think he's a good fit with the Cowboys' offense.
No.
But I wouldn't throw him under the bus.
All of what he said is yeah, you shouldn't shit on Bridgewater. See where he's and he's making great decisions. I think he's played well. He hasn't had a lot of showcasing of his skills lately. In real games, but
last season was basically a recovery season.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
him, his first season back.
Right. And I mean, look at Wentz with his injury. It takes a year to really get back. So I think he'll be better this anyway.
I think Andrew Luck is a good parable.
Yeah. I mean, Bridgewater's was really bad. His injury is horrific. And the heart of all that was just that I just think it's funny that Skip's you guys should have paid attention to me about a draft pick, and it's you think. What's Lonzo Ball's the best
LeVar Ball.
Well, no, Lonzo's the kid, right? LeVar's the shitty dad.
Yeah, well, there's 3 Ball kids.
Yeah.
LeVar's the fame-seeking father.
But he's acting like Lonzo's going to be the best player of all time, and that's not happening.
Probably
well,
not
he's going
happening.
to your Pelicans, but
he's on him, baby.
Yeah.
Lonzo's had some weird health issues. I mean, if you want to talk, LeVar is just every show business parent at this point. It's kind of like every kid that was in a cereal commercial, that was their dad. But now people have realized you can do that with sports too.
Right.
They have a reality show that I've never seen.
Yeah.
And it's on Cubo or whatever the fuck.
Well, but you are wearing the shoes right now.
Yeah, the Big Baller brand, the
both
BBB.
are. Did you see the thing recently where they were having a garage sale with I guess that company's just done.
Oh my god.
That guy he's something else.
That's gonna be a TJ Maxx for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
I still go to TJ Maxx and I'm going through stuff and going, oh yeah, Mark Echo. I forgot about Rockaware. The Big Baller brand's gonna be exclusively at Kohl's now.
BBB? We're gonna move on to the worst. Okay, we're gonna move on to the worst takes of the week, and this is I got to come up with real segment names, but. And I was talking to you
You
about
want to do
this.
that right now? We could pause it.
No, we'll just keep going. I was telling you off air that, like, you know, I am a Cowboys fan. I've talked about it on the first 3 episodes repeatedly that I am, but I'm also an apologetic and a realistic Cowboys fan. I'm not a fan where I'm like, when Quincy Carter was at quarterback, I'm like, we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, I knew we weren't. Like, it's whatever. Skip Bayless every year. We're going to do it. But what sucks is, with this podcast, I want to be able to, like, dive into as many subjects as possible and bounce around. But all these guys tend to talk about the Cowboys a lot, so I am going to dive back in.
Yeah, it's all Zeke the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that is exhausting, and we'll get in that in a minute. But the first thing I want to talk about is Skip Bayless. We're going to stay with him. Dak, he said that Dak Prescott not making the top 100 players this year is going to be the best thing to happen to the Cowboys this season, because it's going to motivate him and drive the Cowboys to the Super Bowl.
Now, I don't have anything bad to say about Dak, but he doesn't seem like the kind of player to, like, crumble up a list and be like, I'll show them.
None of those. Maybe Brady seems, like, weird and, like, remembers everybody's name ever, but I don't think any pro athlete, even if Dak, and I've talked about it, I'm not 100% sold on Dak. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't fully believe in him, but I hope that he, like, evolves a little bit. But he is very gritty. I like that. But even if Dak were very upset by that, I think it would be a moment. I don't think it would be... You're not on the field and you're like, remember that thing about Skip Bayless? Like, that's all fucking lost. I don't understand any of that shit.
Well, I think one of the fatal flaws of Skip Bayless is he just thinks that Dak is sitting at home scribbling down everything he's hearing. Like, he's getting his dick sucked on an island. You know, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not looking at tweets.
Yeah.
I thought Dak was on the top 100 list this year. Was it?
Yeah, I think he was in there, but I think there were. No, I guess he wasn't. I think that was the whole thing.
Well, I've been hearing so much about, like, the NBA is talking about the 2K ratings, which is absurd.
Right.
That, like, you're a 19-year-old player and you're upset at a video game's analyzation of you. And the players list is voted on by the players in the NFL, so I don't think there's a lot of argument. Like, you can see that there's, like, odd mistakes. It's kind of odd that Drew Brees is number 2 on it out of, Patrick Mahomes isn't number 2. But the players vote on that, and it's kind of hard to argue with that, like talking about, like, comedy or something. Like, I don't want to hear what somebody who doesn't do comedy has to say. I feel like the NFL's players list, there's a fucking reason for it.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of like Skip Bayless and all these guys. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
And, like, Chris Broussard, who's an NBA expert, like, talking about the NFL. Like, we're stand-up comics. That'd be like, hey, let's get Andrew and Doug to talk about improv comedy.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Or it'd be like us talking about politics.
Yeah. I want to see that show with Chris Broussard.
Man. Yeah, all the experts are just, the geeks who hated athletes throughout middle school, throughout high school, throughout college, and then used their nerd power to profit off them for the rest of their lives.
Yep. Do you know the whole Skip Bayless 1.4 thing?
No.
So it's on his Twitter timeline all the time. I guess at some point down the line, he talked about, like, kind of bragged about how he was, like, great on his high school basketball team or whatever.
Oh, God.
And
everyone says that. I say that. It's not true.
But there are public records of these things, and he averaged 1.4 points per game. And so half of his Twitter timeline is just people going 1.4, and that's it. It's the funniest fucking thing.
It's like Kobe's 81 kind of thing.
Yeah, but the opposite.
Oh, my God. What a
1.4.
joke. 1.4 points. But he probably acknowledges that, and it's like, yeah, but it was always at the right time, and I provided, I was like, I hustled a lot,
They were the most important 1.4 of that game.
Every game we won by 1.3 points, so.
Oh, God damn it, I hate him so much. Sticking with the Cowboys for a little bit longer here.
I'll talk about him.
And back to what you were talking about, the Zeke thing. Skip also is saying that Amari, Dak, Zeke should all take discounts because they may win the Super Bowl this year. And that would lead to money, which then would lead to speaking engagements. So that's why they should do it.
You could say that about every player in the league.
Yeah,
then.
you could say that. Yeah, literally.
Literally every
any
single
team,
player.
Like, hey, Jameis Winston, you're gonna take a pay cut because maybe we'll go to the Super Bowl. There are people taking them as a sleeper team this year, by the way, the Buccaneers, because of Arians or whatever. But sticking to the subject, I thought exactly what you were saying.
I mean, is Amari Cooper? Is he Hillary Clinton? Does he want to go on a speaking tour?
Yes, exactly.
What's he? I mean, he's just gonna be like, yeah, I played football because I'm good at it. All right, thank you.
Yeah, just like they retire and they're like, all right, I got to go earn that $30 million I lost from taking those pay cuts. Let me go talk to children or whatever, or some senior citizen community. Like, I just don't understand.
The timeline doesn't match up either, because when players go and talk, it's after their careers. It's not in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And like those guys don't need to take a break for the fucking Cowboys. I mean, if you wanted to play with like the Rams, if you wanted to talk about basketball, if you wanted to do like a Durant to Golden State and go play with the Patriots, or you want to go play with the Rams, or you want to go play with the Saints, then you do that. But you don't do that in Dallas. At least not this year. Maybe next year it's a different story.
And by the way, like, he always gives LeBron James so much shit for all the Hollywood shit he's doing, but Dak has a lot of endorsements.
Oh, does he? I never see him on anything.
It's a lot. He has like some yogurt nationals and like a few other things, but I think it's more like they've talked about it on the show. I think they have like 12. He has like 12 or so, but I think a lot of it's like more locally. But still, like, that's a lot of time out of your fucking schedule.
Oh,
You're gonna pick on LeBron. It's the same fucking thing. All these guys do all that. They all have management teams and all that shit.
Oh yeah, and if we don't see it, like, all of those guys are doing local market stuff, or they're on like a Chinese airline commercial.
Yeah. Dak Air.
Yeah, Bree. I see Breeze on everything all the time. Like,
Right.
even not just in New Orleans. Like, he's always wearing Wranglers, drinking a quart of NyQuil. Like, he's wiping himself with
Wait,
like Downy paper towels.
Oh, I thought there was really a NyQuil like Drew Brees
there
ad
is
campaign.
Yeah, I think it is NyQuil, actually.
Whoa,
Yeah.
no way.
He's getting all goofed up on NyQuil. He seems half Mormon. That's probably all he can do.
And again, sticking with the Cowboys, but moving on to Colin Cowherd, who I don't pick on him as much. I feel like Cowherd kind of has opinions that I agree with sometimes. So Skip Bayless, 0%. Will Kane, 0%. Stephen A. Smith, somewhere in the middle. But Cowherd, generally okay-ish, but he can't bug me. And he, again, they're all talking about the fucking Cowboys, who I love. That's what's weird. But I start to like kind of hate on my own team sometimes because I hate all these fucking clowns. But he said the Dallas Morning News did comparisons with Dak Prescott at age 26 to all the other like Cowboys greats at that age, and Dak Prescott was by far the best. Which doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Because Tony Romo hadn't been inserted in any lineup yet. So how do you compare those two? That's just bad coaching to not have him in there because he was clearly good. Roger Staubach was in the military at the time, so that doesn't fucking count. He did pretty okay, won some Super Bowls.
Yeah, he did okay.
Yeah, Don Meredith, I don't remember his story. He wasn't as good at the time. Aikman was having a real rough year at first, but he went on to do okay. But so far, like, I just don't understand how you can like fucking. That's a dumb fucking comparison.
There's so many like pick and choose comparisons that, I mean, you know what is like the saying that you can come up with statistics to prove anything.
Yeah.
Like that's all this shit is, and I don't even think like they believe it. They're just like, oh, this will kill 45 minutes on this tomb I'm chained to every day. Like Cowherd especially, I feel like he is sports church, and I don't mean that in like a cool way of like he's like the reference point He's just a man running a scam that has to talk until he doesn't have to talk anymore. I don't like Cowherd. And he's just up his own ass about Baker Mayfield. I haven't even seen him talking about the Cowboys in the last couple of days. It's all just been Baker. It seems like he's personally upset at Baker, like Baker fucked his wife.
Yeah. No, it's a weird thing because, and I had the same problem, not to the same degree where he's more get off my lawn, fuck this kid. Not fuck, you don't want to fuck him, but he doesn't like him. I just thought he was kind of a punk. I didn't like it, but
Who, Baker?
Baker, like he did a lot of dumb shit, and it is a thing where like that could, like Manziel, like it could sink your team. That's a big fucking gamble, but so he had Baker on. They had this whole beef, and like Baker's now selling anti-Cowherd T-shirts or whatever. Like it's become this big thing, but he's so like expansive on how much he hates him for being a fucking baby, but he also won't let it go. So isn't that
he brings it up at every chance.
Yeah. So you're doing the same. You are what you hate. Like,
we're also giving these guys way too much credit. We're talking about them as if they are human beings with emotion. These are just people trying to sell T-shirts. They don't give a fuck.
I thought I had a fart coming.
Almost a safari.
Yeah, almost. That's so disgusting that I do that because then I stick the fucking mic in my mouth.
And your hand's still covered in pool shit, too.
Moving on. Back to the Saints. Branched off, still with Cowherd, from the Dak argument. Colin Cowherd said that Carolina was full of excuses for Cam Newton, but Dak Prescott is a winner. Like, he was comparing them, but he said that Dak is just so much better. Meanwhile, Cam has gone under a Super Bowl at least.
Cam won an MVP as well.
Yeah, that's right. He's had some good times, and from that he said that Saints fans are all over him because Colin said that the Saints were going to fall flat on their faces this season, and the Falcons and Panthers were going to be like at the top. So I just thought it was like hilarious that he's like, Cam Newton's a fucking joke. He's gonna win the division probably. So as a Saints fan, what do you think about that? What do you think? You hate Colin? Get in there, man. Rev you up.
Colin's a piss drinking idiot. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily. I do think it will be a competitive division. Atlanta had a bad last 2 years, and Carolina had a bad last year. 2 years ago they were 10-6, and the Saints were 11-5 or whatever. That's some shit you say to get 10,000 people to yell at you on Twitter. I don't know if he fucking believes any of it. I think Cam Newton is good. He gets a lot of hate from Saints fans because he went to Auburn. That's like why he's such a fucking target.
That makes sense. Didn't think of that.
I don't know. The Falcons, whether they're good or not, always kind of have our number. I think it's going to be a very competitive division. I'm not a guns blazing, NFC champion thing. It is always a very timid journey being a Saints fan. 2 seasons ago, it was loss at New England to open the season, and then loss to Minnesota, and then they won 11 straight.
Yeah.
So that it's. I'm always very careful with my predictions and my feelings that I put into the season.
See, you're realistic.
Yeah.
That's like I don't.
I can't be that guy ripping my shirt in half, screaming like "fuck you" at Falcons fans. And I've said I really hate the 28-3 thing that Saints fans say to Falcons.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it because now you can just reply to that with Stephon Diggs running down the field.
Yeah.
I really hate shit like that, and I know Saints fans are just supposed to hate the Falcons so much, but it's like, did you want to see Tom Brady win another Super Bowl, or did you want somebody in your division to win it so it feels a little bit better when you beat them?
Right.
That's one thing that maybe I stray a little bit from the path from.
Yeah.
But Colin's a Colin's an idiot.
He's a cuck.
Cam Newton's great. He's a great fucking athlete. He's 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
He's the Hulk. He dresses like James Brown.
God, he has some dapper fashion sense. It's nuts. I
He
love
looks
it.
like a hot black Amish guy.
Oh my God, that's a wonderful description.
Yeah.
And let's take a quick time out so we can refresh our drinks and I can fill up my farts. And we got some more drinks. We did a circle jerk. It was all fantastic.
Yeah, we did vodka tampons like we're going to prom.
Yeah, man. Up our assholes. It's
Wait,
it's a
you don't have a pussy?
oh wait. You didn't
Pause it again, Doc.
Wait, we're gonna take a time out. We're gonna check to see if I have a pussy or not. We'll be right back. And we're back, and we still have no answers.
Yeah, we put a Fun Dip stick in there to see. It just disappeared.
We'll never know.
That's one of the sponsors, right? Fun Dip?
Yeah,
Did I do
Fun
that
Dip.
placement correctly?
It's a Fun Dip and Hormel chili. So we're gonna get out of the NFL for just a second. There was someone that was asking on Twitter. I apologize if you're listening. I'll give you a shout out later. Keep listening. I don't want to lose my one listener.
Oh, no, I've got it here. It's at Dylan Roof.
Yeah, there it is. He was trying to bring to my attention the whole, and I have a feeling you don't like LeBron James.
I'm fine with LeBron James.
Okay. I am too. What's funny is I really don't go either way, but I've become a bigger fan because of people like Skip Bayless that rip him apart for dumb shit.
I completely agree. Miami Heat LeBron, I was still, a hot-headed, handsome young man. And I was like, fuck this guy for wanting to win. And now, as I'm the same age as LeBron.
Yeah.
As we get older together, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah. He did some weird stuff early on, but he was young and fucking rich as hell, and the most famous person on the planet.
He's been one of the top 5 basketball players for 15 years.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how you can complain about that. He's never been an asshole,
he's
really.
a great guy.
He's never had a scandal. He has that amazing school in Ohio.
He's been married for a long time.
He's married to not even like a fucking Kardashian. He's just married to some lady that works at the bank. And, all of his kids are cool. Yeah, I definitely... I feel like losers find problems with winners.
Yeah.
LeBron is
You
just
saying
a winner.
Skip Bayless is a loser?
Oh, indeed I am, Doug.
Full circle.
Pull this for the Instagram ad.
Well,
Yeah.
and this is really going back to Jason Whitlock. Do you know that fella?
I'm familiar.
Yeah, he went off 3 days in a row about, I don't know if you saw LeBron James in the layup line at his son's Bronny's AAU game, and he's just doing windmill dunks and stuff.
That was the response to that was some of the most racist shit I've seen. And that's all it was.
Yeah.
You're mad that a black person is having fun and doing something that you physically can't do.
Yeah.
That is the only problem there. Do you think any of those fucking kids seeing Superman do that shit had a problem with it? No, just you and your boring old white fucking crusty mayonnaise ass is upset with that. And you're upset with it because you can't do it and you suck and your wife hates you.
God damn it. Again, this is why you're on. Feels like you've been waiting to fucking, what Skip would say, unleash.
I hadn't really even thought about it.
Well, that's great. That's even better.
I saw tweets of dickless morons complaining about it. It's like, my dad doesn't know what I do for a living. My dad doesn't give a fuck.
He's out there supporting his kid. And, look, when you watch the video, the first time I heard about it, I just heard Skip and Whitlock complaining about it. But the first time I actually watched it, I was like, oh, it does look silly when he's just, dominating in this, kid arena thing, But all that said, he's just being a great
dad. And again, like, these kids, they're going to have that story for the rest of their life. All those kids love it. There's
why
no way
don't-
they don't.
Ask the children what it was like seeing the greatest living basketball player do tomahawk slams in a layup line at your stupid high school.
Yeah, and I talk.
Most of those kids aren't going to play college ball or go professional, of course.
Yeah. And, you know, so Whitlock says it's all about. Well, he started off the segment by calling him. I hate it when they attempt comedy. Like, he started off by like, now to talk about LeVar James. I mean, LeBron Marinovich. And it was just like, dude, just stop. Like,
What
I
are you
don't-
upset about? Are you upset that a cool man supports his family? Like, how many other famous dads go see their kids do anything?
Right. He's just saying that he's trying to be the center of attention, and he's the type of guy that wants all the oxygen in the room, and that's why Kyrie Irving left. Meanwhile, Kyrie is a flat earther. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Yeah, hasn't Kyrie, like, already kind of
he apologized.
spoken about, like, yeah, I was dumb and young and I kind of made a mistake?
Yeah,
Like,
should be back with LeBron.
Jason Whitlock is a fucking, if a peanut M&M was a libertarian, that guy fucking sucks on all fronts. He's like if Booger McFarlane was really into Legos.
Anyway, he said, you know, LeBron just has this unquenchable thirst for fame, and I don't think it's that. I think he's just so fucking famous. Attention finds him.
He's by default the center
Yeah.
of attention.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
What's he supposed to do? Go in there wearing a cloak?
yeah, like a fake mustache over his beard.
Yeah, he's 6'8", 300 pounds, wearing like Groucho glasses. Well, again, I think we're giving these people too much credit.
Yeah.
Like if you had Jason Whitlock in a room and you're like, hey, do you actually give a fuck about that? I'm sure he'd be like, no, I don't care.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think maybe I think him. I think he is like that. I think he just wants to get the clickbait clicks. I really do, and I've talked about this. I think Skip starts to believe his stuff because his ego's so fucking crazy big that I don't think he would be okay with just everybody's gonna hate me. My opinion's always wrong. You know, like I think he fucking buys into it.
Well, when you get to that position, I think your attitude changes to, oh, I'm getting a reaction for what I'm saying, no
Right.
matter what I say. That means I'm doing something correct.
Right.
And I think he's fallen to the bottom of that well.
Yeah.
To where whatever he says gets 200,000 people to respond to it one way or the other. Nice.
Like that. How many? Oh, god damn it.
I'm going to be taking the windscreen off this mic here, run it through the old dishwash.
My friend Landon asked if I could fart again into the next episode, and so there it is. Landon, that was for you.
Man, friend requests
Yeah,
on the
man.
pod.
Yeah, man, we've got one listener, and he loves the farts. That's the only comment he's had so far. He was like, "The farts are great. Keep it
Our
going."
one fan, Augie, the possum face boy from Jefferson City, Missouri, has requested farting nonstop into the mic.
It's going great, man.
He also requested the rest of the show be cut out and it just be fart sounds into the mic.
I don't even remember what the fuck we were talking about.
We were talking about Jason Whitlock's
Oh,
peanut
yeah.
head. He looks like a Goomba in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh my god, that's also you're really nailing all the references.
I'm going to start tearing up, but I just wish my father cared as much as LeBron.
No, he's a great fucking dad.
Yeah, he's a
Again,
good fucking
he's not
human.
fucking his kid. He's not a fucking dad. He's not.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to make that clear. He's a good guy.
Who gives a fuck if he's in Space Jam? No one gave Michael Jordan shit for being in
Yeah,
Space
he
Jam.
did Space
And
Jam.
Michael Jordan's an asshole.
And Michael Jordan had R. Kelly doing the soundtrack. So I mean, come on.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty devious.
That's true.
Now that you look back.
Yeah, Boy George, he was on the Space Jam soundtrack. Ryan Adams, he was on there.
I love how passionate Andrew is about all this stuff because not recording, just going off about all this
Yeah,
shit.
we weren't recording, so I was
And
telling
he's
them.
like, and another thing.
Well, I was saying that like the LeBron reaction stuff just seems so racist. Like my dad, if you put a gun to my dad's head and you were like, "What is your son's middle name?" I don't know if he could answer. And then you're mad at the greatest athlete of all time. Maybe not the greatest the greatest basketball player of all time. Having fun and supporting his son. Like there was more negative press about LeBron than there was Adrian Peterson, who beat his son with a switch.
Yeah, that was brushed over. Like
I
pretty
heard
quickly.
less about who's the Chiefs player that
Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, Tyreek Hill kicked a woman in an elevator, and there's fucking
Oh, no,
video.
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, sorry, Tyreek.
Both of those though are relevant here.
Yeah, Tyreek was not good.
He hit his
either.
kid, or maybe.
Quit hitting your
Probably,
kids.
yes,
Go
definitely.
dunk on him instead. I think that's the moral of this section of the podcast.
It's the
called
perfect-
Reflection Time.
There we go. That's
Or
the segment
fuck
name.
you, Dad.
And moving on to some quick takes. That did wrap it up really well. This has really been bugging me about both Colin Cowherd and Skip. They both, every once in a while, just throw out that, like, Patrick Mahomes is overrated. But they always, within that, opinion, will throw out that, like, the no-look pass. And it feels like such an old man, like, I don't like these kids throwing their no-look passes in the NFL. That's John Stockton shit.
Yeah.
Like, like, what the fuck is that? Like, fucking evolve, man.
Well, it's like the first guy that dunked. They didn't like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like, you couldn't dunk. There was like a rule against dunking.
There's a whole scene in that movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell about, like, the alley-oop and how it started. And everybody's like, what the fuck was that? That's Skip Bayless and Colin Cowherd. They're just like, Patrick Mahomes is doing shit different. Kyler Murray might do some of that, like they're both like baseball trained
Yeah.
athletes. They're fucking phenomenal. Like, and they're just like, we'll see how this pans out, this flash in the pan. Meanwhile,
Well, there's going to be more and more stuff like that happening because so many star athletes are being raised on two sports now.
Yeah.
And we saw some of it growing up with Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson's potential was murdered by injuries. Deion Sanders less so, but now we're seeing way more like Kyler Murray is a fucking great example of it. Jackson
Right.
Hayes is a good example of it as well. And you're seeing like all these skills come across, and it's fucking amazing. And Mahomes' no-look pass, I think, is in 12 years, people could just be talking about that as a very normal thing.
yeah. No, totally. Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick did it like in a practice recently, and Mahomes was like, "Holy shit!" Like he was impressed by it, and it man, I don't know if you've seen that clip, but it is fucking wicked awesome.
Fitzpatrick did it this year with the
and
Dolphins.
just like it's spring training or something,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it is cool. Like both of those, like I don't know how you
It's
can
hard
shit
to
on those.
say that Mahomes could be overrated
Yeah.
in any sense.
Yeah.
I feel like he's perfectly rated with
Yeah,
someone saying
yeah,
he's
yeah.
the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I know. After 1 year, shut the fuck up,
How
you
could he not
fucking
be?
idiots.
Yeah.
Another quick take. Oh boy, Skip Bayless always brings up, and this bugs me to hell, that everybody should take a discount in their salary like Tom Brady. Meanwhile, Skip Bayless took more money to go to Fox. So go fuck yourself, old man.
Drew Brees, he took some money off to stay on the team and get some people in there as well.
And how rich is his wife?
I mean, God knows.
But as rich as Tom Brady's?
Well, no.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, he's like, Dak, you got to take a discount and be like Tom Brady. But, like, well, he's not married to a fucking supermodel.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
that's the thing.
we mentioned Bree's mountain of endorsements earlier, and that might be one of the offsets from
Yeah.
it. I don't know, man. I have $800 right now. Do whatever the fuck you want to. Who am I to tell someone what to or not to do with their money? I feel like if I was an aging elite quarterback, I would take less money to have a better team and win some more championships
Right.
before I get out of there. But if you don't do that, you're not wrong.
Right. But I feel like with Brady, like when you have hundreds of millions of dollars, like collectively between you and your wife, shaving off what he's shaving off is like fucking changing the
Oh, yeah,
couch,
it's
you know?
nothing.
Like it's yeah. So meanwhile, these other guys, like all of it, like when you're making quarterback money, starting quarterback money in the NFL, it's life changing, generational money, but you can't. You still. It's a weird thing to like.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
gonna ask Marcus Mariota to take
Yeah, yeah.
$20 million off his contract.
right? And then meanwhile, he's probably gonna be done after next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fucked up. Skip Bayless is a piece of shit. That's what it all comes back to. He went to Fox and took a big chunk of change.
So many of these guys just like had their own stat. Like I was watching Colin just railing the Browns. And I get the Browns are popular right now because they're fun.
Yeah.
They are fucking fun. I like the Browns. They're an AFC team
Yeah.
that never plays the Saints. They're probably my second favorite football team. But they're getting backlash now because people are getting excited for them. So like Colin has to be like, actually, like he's a fucking reply
Yeah.
guy for the Browns now. He's like going down. He went down the schedule today, comparing it to the Steelers, and was just like, the team's pretty young, so they're gonna be high on themselves. So
Jesus
all the
Christ.
shit that like Jarvis Landry isn't. He's been in the league 4 years.
Yeah, yeah, and has had like over 100 catches every year consistently, and now Odell is there.
And then like the stats that he's like trying to like draw Baker down with, it's like, Baker didn't start the first 3 games for the Browns.
We're gonna move on here to. I want to share some stuff with you. I'd like to dive into some of these guys' social media a little bit,
Oh God.
and we're just gonna go a little bit into it this week. Skip Bayless once again. That's where we're gonna go on Twitter. His wife and Tom Brady have the same birthday, which I have said is weird to me because I think maybe his wife Ernestine is made up, and it's really just this weird fantasy. But he said a few days ago, "Happy birthday to Ernestine and Tom Brady, all-time greats in that order." And I thought that was. How does she feel about that? You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like Skip would tweet that and then show it to her and be like, "Look at how good I am to you." You know what I mean? Like, that's her birthday gift, probably.
Oh my God. Yeah, I couldn't get away with that. I feel like my lady would kick my ass, and rightfully so. It's such a stupid sentiment.
It's pretty not great.
What's the ratio on that tweet? Does he have some more faves than replies?
I took it a while back, but it's always hate. Nobody, it's a few of him on the, like you were saying, the cricket burner accounts, going back at himself. But, and then meanwhile, I don't know, have you ever been on I've never done this until last week. Josh got a look. He couldn't even really look at it. But have you seen Skip Bayless's Instagram at all?
No, heavens no.
Okay, so I want to get your honest reaction to some of these photographs. Here is this one. I'm going to have you react, and then I'll explain it to the listening audience.
Oh God.
Skip Bayless is wearing a Dallas Cowboys hat and flexing hardcore. I will say he's in phenomenal shape for a 67-year-old. Like, he's in good shape.
That's all glamour muscle. Skip doesn't have a fucking core.
There's another one of him working out, fucking doing. Look at that. He's
How old is
shirtless.
he?
He's 67. And what is the bump in the middle of his chest? He needs to have a doctor look at that.
God, that's where the umbilical cord was supposed to.
Skip shirtless and flexing, but like.
Yeah, Skip was in the Matrix. That bump is his cog port.
I just think like. I think Skip. Another reason that I think like Skip buys into all this shit. Because, like, how big is his ego? He's just, like, 70-year-old-ish man.
Well, it's comparable to Vince McMahon, who's a notable cunt.
Yeah.
Oh, should I not use that word? Sorry.
I've got another fart brewing meanwhile.
Well, he looks like Vince McMahon, who's a fucking asshole, and he's also a jacked older man.
Yeah. I I think he just sits there and fucking looks at Tom Brady while he lifts weights. And meanwhile,
He's
like,
probably not even lifting weights. He probably has on those like weighted armbands. And he's just jerking off.
he like talks shit to Shannon about how like how jacked he is, and meanwhile, Shannon Sharp is the most muscular person on this fucking planet.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, we're both like burping into the mics, like.
Don't drag me into this, Doug. It's mostly you.
No, I heard it earlier. Maybe I didn't. Anywho, earlier you said you didn't want to. You're very careful about your predictions, but I do want to ask. It was brought up. It was like the first subject on Skip and Shannon's show, and Tom Brady, just turned 42. And Shannon predicted this was his last year. Skip says he has 3 more years. Where do you think, where do you fall in all that?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Skip on this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's somewhere in the middle.
I mean, barring injury, he's
Right.
got 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the Patriots' O-line to testify for
Right.
Brady's well-being this season, but he has never been in mortal danger like Drew Brees has in certain situations. I mean, like the Dallas Saints game last year is a perfect example of how if Drew Brees has pressure on him and a monster defense, he can't do jack shit.
Right.
And his height really comes into play then. Tom Brady doesn't necessarily have the height issues, but I don't watch a lot of Patriot games, but I haven't seen that kind of pressure applied to Brady before. He has 3 years healthy. If he can remain untouched, 3 years, I think easy.
Yeah.
His arm doesn't seem to have decreased as much over the last 5 years.
Well, apparently they're saying that like he has gotten stronger and faster this year, which I think like the Patriots have been caught cheating a million times. Why is this normal all of a sudden?
That doesn't really line up with a lot of stuff.
Ever.
Most teams with older quarterbacks, like Brett Favre's on the Vikings, they change their offense to cater that quarterback. It'll be interesting to see what the Patriots do.
Well, you saw Peyton Manning at the end of his career. Like he couldn't fucking move, but he could get the ball out really quickly. And they're just smart quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They get smarter. And, but I don't think it's the last year. I think even if he
There's no way it's the last year.
even if he fell off a cliff towards the end, which like that's the thing with these quarterbacks as they get older, they can start out hot, but like it's endurance over the course of a year. And
that was
an
the problem
NFL
Brees
schedule.
had last year.
Yeah, he was starting to like hit it a little bit, and
That was also a depleted O-line.
yeah. But it'll just be, but with Brady, I think it'll just be a thing where even if he fucking got pummeled day one, he sucked, he was the worst quarterback in the league. He's got too much pride. He would like. Somebody would take a flyer on him next year. There's no way, there's no way, Tennessee would be like, no, we don't want Tom Brady.
Any team in the league would be very remiss to not take Tom Brady.
Yeah, even for marketing. Yeah,
marketing younger players. He's going to be in the league another 3 years, probably as a starter, and he might be in there another 5 years.
But again, with his ego, if he'll never be a backup. Like it's a Carmelo.
It's a Carmelo. Yeah.
Whoa, great minds think alike. All right, this is my favorite portion of the podcast. I just like to ask guests a
Doug's
little bit.
unzipping his pants for the at-home view. They're all at-home viewers. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
My goodness. So I like to ask the guests a little bit, get a little insight about Skip Bayless's home life. And this week I'd like to ask you, what do you think Skip was like as a child?
Skip, I feel like we've all read Pride and Prejudice, right? He's probably like Lenny petting the cat too hard, but he's too weak to pet it too hard. 1.4 points a game.
Right.
I don't think he. That's why Skip is ripped now, because he, looked like.
Right.
Yeah, he looked like Screech as a child, I'm imagining. And he's definitely got fake hair. Those are all plugs. I guarantee it. Skip as a child would probably make a homeschooler look like The Rock.
God, you're getting in there deep. I just feel like he'd be like he easily is like the guy that talked a lot of shit, but he couldn't take it back.
Yeah,
We
he
all know
would.
that,
He'd probably get asthma anytime he got a boner.
Or anytime he was being beat up, he would pull that card. And also, like, I hate people like that like. So I guess Skip brings it up on occasion, like that he had this like horrible upbringing, alcoholic, like parents. I don't know if it was one or the other or both.
Yeah, they were probably drinking because they were his parents.
That was the point I was gonna make. Thank you once again. No. I appreciate
Don't mean
like
to step on the feet.
No. That's what I love. Like I was going there, and I love it when people are on board. Like it's just. I hate it when somebody has a horrible upbringing and their excuses made where they're like, man, well, yeah, he's an asshole, but that's just because he was treated shitty. And it's like, well, I know other people that were treated shitty, but they're great, wonderful people, and they've moved on. And and also in the case of Skip Bayless, maybe he was a piece of shit from birth, and maybe that's what drove his parents to alcoholism.
Sometimes, I respect my elders, and they know more than I do. So maybe your parents realized you sucked. I don't know. Skip is he's sports Geraldo. Like he's a sensationalist doofus. Wow. He is.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Even down
That's
to
perfect.
the leathery skin shirtless photo. Geraldo did that too.
I didn't show you. He almost every day on Instagram posts pictures of him just flexing his Jordans in his suit. It's so fucking silly.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah, it's really sad.
I haven't kept up too much with Skip. I feel like he's probably a Zion hater.
Love Zion. That's a hot take for him. He's like, Zion's going to be great. It's like, yeah, that's not really a hot take.
Well,
there.
I'm sure
he
hates the Pelicans for some reason, or he has some shit to talk about.
No,
them.
he's going for them because LeBron, sent all those players there. So now that's like his de facto team.
Oh, he's mad because he abandoned the young Lakers core.
He is dug in so deep with Lonzo Ball, and that he's going to be the next Magic Johnson. That's now like these guys are going to rally, and I can see that like those kids will rally together and like we're going to, it's going to be a young core.
This is year 3 and 4 for Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball. This is going to be their breakout year, and it's going to be a very fun team. I think people are putting their pants on a little too soon, saying that the Pelicans are going to be in the fucking playoffs, but I think they're going to be a great fucking team.
I think it'd be interesting for sure. Fuck.
I mean, I've said before that I grew up a Mavericks fan, like you did.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I have deep love for the Mavs because there were no Pelicans.
Yeah,
there were no Jazz, and I've loved the Mavs, and I've loved the Pelicans too. It's maybe the only dual sport teams that I fully support. Which makes me feel a little bit like a piece of shit. I feel like you have to be 100% for one thing only.
Nah. I'm weird with the NFL. I root for most teams. It's just basically I hate the Patriots.
Yeah.
And
outside of the NFC South, I root for whatever I'm watching is in whichever team is more interesting.
Right. Yeah, NFC East. For me. Oh man, dude. We're gonna wrap it up, dude. Bro. Andrew, you've been awesome. We've had so much fun. You have brought so many great comparisons to all these fucking idiots that I hate so much.
Yeah, I said Booger McFarlane. Wait, no. Jason Whitlock like a peanut M&M. Skip Bayless looks like a wallet. That's most of it.
Yeah. That was a good 1-2 punch, though. Do you have anything you want to plug? Get out there.
No.
All right. That's how I am at the end of every
I'm
podcast.
private on social media.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have a private Twitter. I have a private Instagram. Somebody wants to follow me. The Twitter is Colton Burpo. And then I will vet you, see what you're all about, and then maybe I'll accept you. And then the
What
Instagram.
can they say through this to like, hey, listen to 69th base?
I don't know. Maybe don't be a narc. Maybe don't be a screenshot ghoul. I don't know. No, I just like to have fun online, so that means excluding everyone in the world from being online.
Hey, that only makes sense.
Yeah, I've got. If you're a fan of comedy and podcast and whatever the fuck, or you want to see me do comedy, look at andrewpolkcomedy.com. I have shit up
There
there.
you go.
You don't need to see my social media. That's for my friends. I don't know you.
Andrew's a brilliant comic. He's the best. Check him out. Try to get into his private social media.
Change your name.
I'm going to be in Orlando this weekend, the 9th and 10th, opening for Dan Cummins. San Francisco on the 14th. Cloud Top Comedy Fest, the September 12th through the 15th. Fart Safari 3 in November. It's getting
Whoa.
taped. It's going to be great. In Austin, Texas at Cap City. Also, guys, rate, subscribe, tell your friends, give us feedback, tweet at me. Give me topics you want to fucking talk about, you're frustrated with about all these idiots. And I just want to thank you again, Andrew. Dude, that was so... Andrew Polk, man.
Oh,
That
yeah, I'll
was-
be back.
Yeah, please, man, I want you back a lot. It's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be great. You were the best. Thank you so much, man. That's it for 69th Base. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to get some sleep. I can't even say it. I'm going to get some sleep. All right. I should have stopped earlier. I could have just ended it, and now we're still going.
Still going. I'm back in.